Lawyers, what was your oh shit moment in court? I was prosecuting a contempt action in family court, which is one of those things you almost never expect to win. Contempt is a high bar to clear, and most judges would rather avoid locking someone up over family court disputes unless you really leave them no choice. But in this case, I had a gut feeling. The defendant had repeatedly blown off court-ordered visitation and support requirements, and we had the receipts, emails, missed check-ins, even text messages that contradicted what he was claiming. The other side came in cocky. The defendant's attorney clearly thought the whole thing was going to get tossed before we even got going. No witnesses prepared, barely glanced at their own clients' affidavits. You could tell they expected to coast through it, chalk it up as a non-event. Then I got the guy on the stand. It became clear real fast that his own words were going to bury him. He contradicted himself 3 separate times before we even got halfway through cross. Every time I'd circle back to a timeline or a communication thread, he'd change a detail. You could see the judge shifting in her seat, leaning in, watching him squirm. His lawyer just sat there, trying to keep a poker face, but his pen started moving a lot more. When we rested, I felt like maybe, just maybe, I'd done enough to get a ruling. But still, I wasn't expecting what came next. The judge cleared her throat, looked straight at the defense table, and said, "The court finds the defendant's testimony untrustworthy. He has willfully violated the court's prior orders." I was stunned. I'd never heard a judge say that out loud in a contempt case. I was just trying to hide my surprise. Then the real bomb dropped. The defense attorney stood up and said, "Your Honor, now that you have found my client's testimony to be untrustworthy, I am requesting a continuance in order to prepare further witnesses." I stared at him, blinking. He actually said it. The courtroom was silent for a beat. You could feel everyone silently thinking, did he just ask to bring in new witnesses after resting his case? The judge didn't even flinch. "You had your shot, and you missed, counsel." He tried again, this time a little more desperate. "Your Honor, there was no way I could have anticipated that you'd find my client's testimony untrustworthy, and as such, I didn't have the opportunity to prepare other witnesses in support of his position." The judge just sat there, perfectly calm, then said, "That may be an argument for your carrier, counsel, but it holds no water with me. See you this afternoon for sentencing." It took me a second to process what she'd just said. Then it hit me. She had just told this man, on the record, in front of his client, that he should probably call his malpractice insurance. You could have heard a pin drop. The defendant looked like he'd just been slapped. His attorney sat down slowly, face pale, not even pretending to object or follow up, just dead silent. I packed my files and walked out like my shoes were made of glass, barely believing what I'd just witnessed. That wasn't just a win, that was a judicial beatdown. Sentencing that afternoon was relatively routine. No courtroom fireworks, but the damage had already been done. The look on the client's face said it all. His lawyer had led him into a courtroom with zero preparation, and now he was going to pay the price, literally. That case taught me a lot about preparation, about overconfidence, and about the very real possibility that, on the right day, with the right facts, and the wrong kind of arrogance, even a contempt case can turn into a career-defining disaster. For someone else, anyway.